So what else have you got in here then, David?
Well, this is where one of our main batches of chrysanths stock, some of which should have already been in the ground, but the weather conditions and everything else has not allowed us to do it.
Wow!
So these were taken 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks?
Yeah. The ones on the back there were taken 4 or 5 weeks ago, and they should have been planted out by now. But we're just behind on it with the way the weather's been, trying to get the land prepared amongst everything else. We couldn't move them out to harden them up. And then last week we didn't have time to move them out to harden up.
It's been a wicked May, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so I've got to make the best efforts to get planted. I've still got some chrysanths stock on the go, just in case we'll have a failure on that batch and something happening. I can still take some cutting of them, but I think we'll be okay. This is now filling up with dahlias for trial, all the new varieties that we're trying, that have come in from various places, and in some cases we're unsealing. So some are from America, some are amateur raisins that we've had sent to give a go. So yeah, everything that we've got here, it's like it's an honour to have actually to be sent them to give them a go.
So do people just send you them out of the blue, or?
In some cases they turn up out of the blue.
Yeah.
In some cases we're given advance warning, or we're asked if we would like to give it a try.
Wow.
I prefer the latter, where we're asked so we can assess it, but in some cases they just sort of like turn up, and it's very hard to say like no. But it does take time, it takes effort. You know, this full house is dedicated to trial ones.
And it's really warm in here.
It is, because I forgot to open the vents.
Wow, it's brilliant.
So he traded these up last week? No, 12 days ago.
Wow.
In fact, it might have actually been last Tuesday. I've lost count.
They're ready for off, aren't they?
They're ready for off. Got to work it out. There's signs on some of this. The problem is with varieties from elsewhere, you never know what you're getting.
Yeah, you don't know what's coming
you have
in.
to keep an eye, you know. So, and sometimes they don't show the signs of it. And it may not be virus. It may just be symptomatic of that variety's particular traits. But work on the basis that if in doubt, chuck it out.
If in doubt, chuck it out.
Yeah. So that on that, because you're comparing with that and that, you know, which is again the same variety.
Right. I like that more.
So that's going to go to the scrap heap.
So dare I ask what you've seen signs of in that?
It's the mottling on the leaf and the distortion of the leaf. You know, so this is like the same variety. You know, so you've got a nice healthy plant of it there.
Yeah.
And you've got that there.
So that's compost fodder.
Yeah, well, not even compost fodder. It'll probably go in the skip.
Okay.
One. Right, as he grabs it across from the other side, Liam, this is a seedling from John Sharp. The tubers were only set away 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, so they were dry, dormant.
Wow.
Right? And that, if you can see the bottom there,
yeah,
that's in Melcourt peat-free compost.
Fantastic, in 2 weeks.
In 2, yeah, 2 weeks.
So that's nearly all wood chip then?
Nearly all wood chip. It's the best peat-free we've used. So these were cuttings that were taken in February, again. They were trayed up into shuttle trays rather than pots.
Right.
And then potted up. These were potted. You only potted these 4 weeks ago into 2 litre pots.
4 weeks ago.
And again, we're using the Clover professional pot bedding with a bit of perlite that Alan uses in it. I've actually got some John Innes mixed in this one, so you can see the John Innes through there as well.
Beautiful.
Okay.
And what rooting compound do you use?
We're using Prize Upon Rose.
And do you use a new batch of it every year? Do you get a new packet of it, or can you overwinter it?
We can overwinter it, and we don't really notice that much drop off in its performance, but I wouldn't want to keep it beyond, you know, to use it for another season.
Right, so 1 year overwinter, and then your new packet.
As long as it's sealed up, you know, like you've closed the lid, and you know, on it, it should be fine. But we use Prize Upon. There's three strengths of the rooting powder. There's the rose, the pink one, a green one and a grey, and they've all got different percentages of IBA in it. You know, so for the tougher, the harder to root ones, we'll use the grey, which is about 0.8% IBA, as opposed IBA, not IPA, as in the beer. Right, okay.
Shame.
Yeah, I know. The green one, I think, is 0.25%, and the pink, yeah, green is 0.25, and the pink is about 0.1. It's not a seedling that Disney was trying to grow. That's actually Blight and Stella.
Yeah, lovely.
But white.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Pearly pink.
Obviously, the size of the plants at the minute, it's not doing the flower justice. There's not enough strength in it to have any fullness to the flower. But rather than plant the plants out, you know, grow them on stop and treat them as normal, and then grow 20 plants in the field to see what happened, and then find 19 of them were pink and one was white, or none of them were even white. He thought, I'll take some cuttings, run them up, get them to flower as soon as possible, and then see if they're secure. So we've got 4 plants there, of which they're flowering.
Gorgeous.
White. The Fleur de Soleil, which is a bright orange, flame coloured one, we found a red spot last year, 1 plant. So Alan's just grown them, let them run up the flower, and at the minute everything that were flowered is the sport.
Fabulous.
The Fleur de Soleil. It didn't happen with Normandy frills because we had a pink one. A whole plant of Normandy frills. No, it was a part of a plant of Normandy frills, that's right, just a stem which had pink flowers on it. But every one of those has just flowered Normandy frills. But this one, this is the sport of Rosemary Dawn.
Oh.
Which it was 1 plant that sported totally. So the chances of that being true the following year are much higher than where you've just got a branch of it. And everything so far has flowered this lovely
Gorgeous.
pale peach, which so far has been, the picture I put on Facebook the other week, has been shared right across the world, I think.
It's gorgeous.
And if I was taking advance orders on it, I think I'd probably have sold nearly 500 now.
Beautiful.
The gold, again, this was 1 part of a plant, but in this case we seem to have managed to secure it.
So if you've got a sport that's coming on 1 branch,
yeah,
how do you get that to be a plant of its own?
well, it'd be marking that branch and taking cuttings off that branch only. Okay.
So you're taking that cut in August, September?
Yeah,
and then
overwintering it, which we did under with some lights. So kept it growing and kept it
oh,
growing.
this sounds expensive, Dad.
You've got to try these things out.
Yeah, you
We
have.
had lights on for the other reasons as well. You know, so yeah, growing it that way.
So if I get a spot on a pom, take the cuttings off that spotted branch,
Yeah,
and then try and keep it going
yeah,
under some sort of artificial light through the winter.
yeah.
Bit of heat on.
Bit of heat on, and then take some cuttings. So we've got quite a bit of stock of this like already.
Very good.
But say it was running up the flower as early as possible to see if we were going to be wasting our time for the rest of the season or just ditch it early on. But that's certainly not going to be a waste of time what we've done with that one. You know, from like 1 plant we've now got about 60
Brilliant.
of it. So hopefully I'll get that actually into the trials this year. Maybe shouldn't have said that bit now, because then we know where it's come from. That one we've got to check. That's white Stella again, but remember this was a stem as opposed to a full plant, so you've got that which is flowering right, but then you've also got
Stella.
Stella, if you like, yeah. Okay, so that's gone back to Blight and Stella, and that's as it is.
That's lovely.
From Paula from Abigail in Suffolk. George in a rainy, then sunny, then rainy again, Northampton. Yeah,